virtual trade show. Today, we'll be reviewing a few of our products that we have and also just talking about some of the great value that PaymentVision can provide you and your company from a payment processing and payment services perspective. What we'll do to start is go through with some introductions. First, you have Ryan Clark, Head of Product Management for PaymentVision and AutoScribe.
I'm Angel Keller, Director, Strategic Partnerships and Sales.
Rob Mangarelli, Vice President of Sales.
All right, so today, what will we be talking about? We're going to go over a little bit of an overview of AutoScribe and PaymentVision. PaymentVision is a AutoScribe company, and AutoScribe's been around for 30 years, so we'll talk a little bit about the value that we can provide you in these unstable times, the stability that we can provide you during these times. We'll talk about our solutions, specifically looking at our settlement and processing capabilities and our channel and gateway products. What we'd like you to know about PaymentVision is, one, we're a mission-based company. We focus on building customized, compliant, and secure financial technologies, and we've been doing this for a very long time. 30 years, AutoScribe's been in business, and over those 30 years, we've seen some of the worst times and some of the best times. We've encountered the 2001 shock, we've encountered the housing shock, and we've stuck around through all of that and been there for our clients and our customers. And we look forward to doing that for you today as well. A little bit of history about PaymentVision. Like I said, from 1989, PaymentVision was started as part of the AutoScribe Corporation with a focus on being compliant, PCI compliant specifically, biller direct, and an industry-leading electronic payment gateway provider. We accept all forms of payment, ACH, check, or debit card, and credit card. And we have capabilities through pretty much any contact channel that you would like to interact with us: call center, phone, IVR, online, mobile, text, and our integrated software APIs. Over the last 30 years, we've done quite a few things, and we highlight a couple of those. We just recently released Pay by Text, and we look forward to sharing that with you today. It's a leading-edge, innovative solution to allow you to meet your member where they're at in their channel of choice to complete a payment easy and seamlessly. In addition, last year, we were awarded our 9th patent over the last 30 years. And we also launched the mobile app. So you can see over the course of the last 30 years, we continue to strive and improve, building on what's made us great as a payment processor to start. Next, we really highlight our value. From our perspective, we want to make sure that we're providing you guys the best products and better services. Annually, we process over 2 billion transactions. We have 30 years of industry-leading experience. We've had a system availability rate of 99.5%. And we really take this to heart. It's very important to us that we are making sure that our clients are satisfied, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. So what do we mean as far as our value prop, and why is customer service and our clients so important to us? You'll see that right at the center of the screen. For over the last 30 years, we've really focused on making sure that we provided excellent customer service. And when you think about processing payments, that is the differentiator, is how well is your partner in the payment processing space? How responsive are they? Are they hearing you? Are they willing to listen? Are they willing to customize to meet your needs? And we dedicate a team to you as a client. As soon as you get started with us, you'll have a team from a sales rep to a relationship manager to a whole support staff that know you as a client, know what you need, and we work very diligently and closely with you on an ongoing basis to make sure that what you're getting is what you desire and it meets your needs. So, at the center of the page, we highlight exceptional customer service, and overall, that is a key distinguishing factor about who we are, and what we're about is make sure we're taking care of you, our clients and customers. To the left and right, we'll talk about a few of our other value props. We really do focus on making sure we have a seamless payment experience. We'll talk about that as you see the different demos today. No matter what channel you're in, you're going to get that omni-channel experience. You're going to get that integration across channels with our API that helps to make sure all of our processes are seamless and integrated across channels and across payment methods. In addition, you'll see that we're highly available and highly secure. This is something we pride ourselves on, just talked about being a 99.99% uptime and greater. In addition, we're PCI level 1 compliant. We have an active SA16 tokenization and a whole bunch of other encryption features that help make sure that your technology and your integration with our solutions are safe and secure. In addition, we talked about our portfolio of 9 patents, and we're continuing to work on a day-to-day basis, whether it's through partners or our internal development, to create and build innovative technology to help you capture more payments from your customers. And finally, I'd talk about 2 things, our flexible and customizable solutions. We'll go through that in each of the demos, highlight some areas where we can customize for branding or configuration options. And in addition, we do have a compliance expertise built in-house with a really strong compliance and legal team that can help you answer many of the questions from, what do you need to do to be protected under any of the numerous laws that are out there to make sure that the solutions we're providing you are accurate and compliant. And with that, I'll turn it over to Rob.
PaymentVision offers a full suite of payment processing services. First, I'd like to discuss our credit and debit card processing. We work with multiple sponsor banks, so we're able to get almost everyone approved for credit and debit card processing. We also offer a convenience fee pricing model that will allow us to offset, some or a majority of the fees charged to you as the merchant. We also have ACH processing through multiple banks. We have check printing available to offer to some businesses. Then we also have cash walk-in payments. This allows the underbanked to still be able to make payments through walk-in and cash to 60,000 of our biller locations across the U.S. We are a very safe, secure, and compliant company. We are DigiCert trusted. We are NACHA compliant. As Ryan mentioned earlier, we are PCI DSS certified, service level 1. We have a SOC 2 certification, and then we're also ADA compliant. Some of the channels and gateway solutions PaymentVision offers. We offer a Pay API solution, which allows our partners, software partners, to do an integration with PaymentVision. Pay Agent allows your employees to enter the payments in while they're working at home or in the office. Pay IVR allows people to make phone calls. You don't have to use up human capital. They make a call to an 800 number at any time during the day, and they're allowed to make a payment via credit card, debit card, or ACH. Pay Web allows the consumer to make a payment from the luxury of their home instead of speaking to an agent. Pay by text, something we've recently rolled out here. It allows consumers to make payments via text link. We send payment notifications via text, payment reminders. PV walk-in payments allows us to, as mentioned before, an individual go into a biller location, make a cash payment that is credited to their account. PV mobile app, something that we've rolled out in the last 6 months. We can create a mobile application customized to your brand. It would be in the Apple Store as well as Google. We also have Pay by Kiosk. This is good for individuals that are trying to reduce headcount. Someone can go make a payment at a kiosk and not waste time or use human capital, and instead make the payment via a kiosk.
Awesome, thank you. And at this time, what we do is we'd like to get some interaction from the audience to make sure we focus on the right things and the things that you want to hear about. What we're going to do is open up a poll. And what we'd like to know from you is which product would you be most interested in us demoing first? We're going to launch this poll in just 1 second here. If you could, go ahead and respond to the poll for us. We'll give everyone about 30 seconds or so.
So far, with our interactive poll, we have pay by text winning 77%, followed closely by pay web. Well, yeah.
It's a landslide.
We kind of figured pay by text would be the most popular.
We would think that would be the most popular. So with that, I want to thank everyone for their participation in this first poll. Pay by text was the clear winner, so we'll start with pay by text, then we'll move into pay web, and then we'll use the last few minutes to talk about mobile app and walk-in payments.
And as I'm demoing pay by text, you will see the pay web functionality as well because they're really tied together.
And what I'll do now is I'm going to turn it over to Angel, and I'll make you presenter here. Just 1 second, team.
Okay, great. So as the gentleman mentioned, we have our pay web product, and it's tied into our text messaging product. So I'm going to be a consumer, and I'm going to sign into our pay web. As Ryan mentioned earlier, our pay web product, we can customize them to fit your needs. So we could change the logo to be your logo. We can change the colors. We can add disclosures to the website. It's very customizable. So whatever you need, you let us know, and we'll see what we can do to accommodate that. So as I log in, I have a contact information page here. It just gives the consumer the ability to verify the information you have for them. This piece here is the new functionality that we've added to our pay web that ties into our text messaging. So you can see here that I have an opt-in. So we keep the opt-in information for your consumer. So as they sign in, they're choosing, I want text messages, and I want anybody calling me. And make them register the phone. So I want to make sure that they have that phone that they're saying they want text messages sent to. So as I do that, I'm going to get a code. Let's cancel that because I put in the wrong number. I'm never getting that code. And there's my code. So I do have this phone. Here's the code I just received. I'm going to register that phone. And then I also display down here a way for them to opt out. So we want to make it very easy for a customer that if they decide that they don't want text messages anymore, legally you have to give them a way to opt out. So we're doing that in this message here. I've decided me as a consumer, I want to get all of my account information via text. I want to be able to make payments via text. Whatever I can do text, I want to be able to do that. So I'm going to save that here. Just give them a message. So here on my web, I need to make a payment for this account. So for simplicity reasons, I'm just going to make a one-time payment of $50. I've made a payment on this account previously, so you can see I've saved my bank information or my credit debit card here. And as we've mentioned, we are PCI compliant, so we tokenize all financial information, only showing the last four of the credit card and the expiration, as well as the bank accounts. So we will show the ABA information, but then just the checking account and the last four of the checking. I'm going to continue here. As a consumer, I'm making a $50 payment. This is a new feature that we've added to the PayWeb product as well. It is the electronic signature. So as I type in my name here, it shows my signature. This authorization box is customizable. So you can choose any language that you want here to make sure the customer knows that they're authorizing this payment, and by signing this, it's an electronic signature. I'm going to submit it. And then I get my confirmation. So if I go to print this page, you can see my signature here. I'm printing the page. There's my confirmation. Get out of that. And I got out of the whole thing. So as I come back in as a consumer and I've registered my phone number, what you're going to see is here's the phone number. So this is the same account I was just in. I registered the number. It's saved here. If for some reason I need to register a different number, once I register that new number, this phone number will be unregistered. So I will get a text message receipt of that payment that I just made. It's in my demo environment, so we have it set for every 5 minutes. So I will see that soon. In the meantime, let me show you our text-to-pay functionality. So me as a consumer, remember, I've registered my phone. So I'm just going to initiate this here. I get a message. So our clients have said, I want to text message my consumers. Anybody that's opted in, let's go ahead and let them know that they have a payment due. So this consumer is opted in to receive text messages. I'm letting them know that they have a payment of $494.70 due. If they want to pay this amount, text yes. If they want to pay a different amount, text me what you want to pay. So I can't do the $494, but I'm going to do $200. So this consumer has bank account information on file with us, as well as credit card information. So we're asking them, do they want to pay with their bank account or their credit card? I'm going to use the bank account. Again, are you sure? I'm going to text yes to authorize again. And then I'm going to get my confirmation. So this is my confirmation number, the TX number. This consumer made a payment. Our clients see this information in the PaymentVision portal, as well as in your payment files that you're loading to your system. So it's a very seamless process. So any product you have with PaymentVision, you see that information in our PaymentVision portal immediately. So customer made this payment right now, you can go in and view that information in the portal. All right, what am I missing on text messaging? Have I covered it?
Yeah, so let's do a change to the payment method. So we're going to run through, we'll do the same scenario, but we'll run through, and instead of selecting the card on file, hit, you'd like to choose a different option. And we'll just show how we can link into the portal for them. So in some of the big things that we've all identified with text message is this is the way we communicate today, right? And so what we're seeing, even the CFPB reported last year, their last biannual credit card study, over 60% of people, consumers, are completing financial transactions on their phones. And those under 25, it's 80%. And so you can see the general trend is shifting to more and more mobile, more and more text payments. And so we want to be there ready for you as your consumers start to make that shift as well. So we'll go through with this example.
Yeah, you need to set it up on yours.
Is it not going through? We'll come back to that example.
Okay.
Could you do this for me? Go ahead and for the other thing here, we talked about how easy it is to opt in and opt out. So one of the things we can do, we won't use the term stop because stop will delete you from the system completely, but let's just use cancel. And we highlight this because we understand that compliance is very important to all of us, and we want to make sure that when we're releasing text message that you have the capabilities to make sure that you are compliant, that we have the right opt-out and unsubscribe functionality in place. So you can see here with just a simple use of a keyword like cancel, that the user or the consumer can unsubscribe from those messages. This is very important when you talk about your Consumer Telecommunications Protection Act, things like that, to make sure that everyone is aware of and has the ability to manage who is communicating to them and when. So we have this built in. Some of the other things that we talk about here is these terms are what's called keywords. So start, pay, unsubscribe, cancel, stop, they're all keywords. All of those are customizable. So if you want to have fuzzy logic around it, you can. What does that mean? When someone uses the term unsubscribe and maybe there's a spelling error in it, it will still recognize that. Or if it uses pay, you can have logic around it to use very specific terms. So where you have an action item like pay, we might say don't use fuzzy logic, use a very strict adherence to the word pay. But in other terms like unsubscribe or some of the other things, like maybe you want an info keyword that would direct them to your website, you could have info or get info, and it would read it all the same. So those keywords on the right that we've been texting are completely customizable. In addition, the workflow is customizable. And then some of the other things, if you'll scroll up in the message, that will highlight. So
what are you looking for?
yep, so we can stop right there for a second. So you can see here where we have the last four of the credit card. So that's standard, you know, to make sure that we're providing a PCI compliant solution. But if you wanted to change the text, if you wanted to provide a link to the website, all of that is within our workflow, and those message components are customizable. So, you know, as you look at this and you think about how you would want to communicate to your customer, we can modify the language to fit your needs.
And if the consumer does not have a credit card or a bank account information on file, that's exactly what happens, as Ryan said. We send a link to the consumer that directs them to the Pay website so they can enter that information in.
Okay, so one of the questions was, can you block a consumer from paying less than what they're set to? Yes, so this will take into account your configuration. So again, because this is fully integrated with our systems. Oh, sorry, I will repeat that question for you again. So the question was, can you configure pay by text so that way the payment has to meet a minimum requirement? And the answer is yes. So pay by text is integrated into all our systems. And so as you configure, when you're setting up the system, you'll be able to set up your payment options based on percentages, minimums, maximums, etc. And when you set that up, that is then consumed by pay by text. And actually what I'll do is I'll go ahead and set up a demo for that real quick, okay, and I'll show them how that'll work.
Okay. And workflows. So you decide what workflows you want. We do have templates that we can share with you on workflows that we've seen in the industry work, depending on which industry you're in. But if you want a different workflow, you can help us build the workflows for you. So it's very customizable, as Ryan said.
All right, will you hand me the code that pops up on your screen?
Sure. Let me stop sharing. You should see it.
Just tested it, so there, it works. All right, we're running into technical difficulties here. Just 1 second. There it is. All right. All right, and we'll get an AirPlay code.
There you go.
All right, let me put that in. All right, everyone should see my screen now.
You see it.
All right. All right, so on the screen here, what I've done is I'm going to request that I pay a bill, and I'm going to show you a couple different options here. So with the the customization and configurability of this, we'll go through a couple different things. So here I'm going to request a pay a bill, just like Angel had done just a minute ago, and we'll get a response here of a payment due. Okay. So it says, all right, reply 1 to pay. It already has captured my card on file with expiration date. Do you want to pay with this? I'm going to go ahead and say yes, because I want to show this specific example for the question. So I'm going to go ahead and repay with this card. And now what you'll see is it's saying, hey, would you like to pay the past due amount of $165, or would you like to pay another amount? So I'm going to go ahead and pay another amount. So I hit 2 there to pay another amount. And again, these replies can be customizable for you. So so you can see here, reply with the amount you would like to pay, including decimal. For example, to pay $60, reply with $60. So just to note, this is a demo environment. So, you know, again, all customizable. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and pay $50. Okay, so you can see here, the payment amount is less than the minimum allowed of $60. Payment entered 50. Please re-enter the amount. So you can see here with the question that came in, if you set up the configuration that says, I will only accept the minimum amount for a payment, we can consume that within our system. It's all part of the configuration. And so when the user either goes into PayWeb or Pay by Text or any of the channels, they're going to get that same experience. And so if there's a minimum amount, they would have to make that minimum amount. So since I entered below, what it does give me is the opportunity to pay the right amount. So I'm going to go ahead and select $60 and make that payment. And you can see here, I do have some fuzzy logic on it. So, you know, in the prior text, it did say put 60 plus the decimals. In this case, I only put the 60, and it still recognized it. So, you know, it's not so strict that the consumer is going to get tied in a loop, in a circle, but it's got the specific logic on it, so it's capturing the right intent of the user. And so then you can see here, I'm verifying my payment. And in this case, we set up that secondary step of verification. So in this workflow, we're using the term authorized to complete the payment, to make sure that that user truly wants to make a $60 payment on the credit card ending in 1111. And if so, I can go ahead and text in authorized. And to Angel's point, once you do this, you've completed that payment. And the next thing we'll notice is that we'll get payment confirmation. So between her phone and my phone, we're blowing up with payment confirmations right now. But you can see here we have that payment confirmation. The other thing that I'll show you real quick, and just take a quick breath there. Any questions on that? If so, I do highlight the question box on the right panel, so you can ask any questions in there as we go through this.
And we do have some clients that require their consumers to make the full amount that they owe, that they can't make partial payments. We can do that as well. We also have the ability to block consumers from making, say you want to block a consumer from making an ACH payment, that they can only make credit or debit card payments because they've had some returns on you. That same capability that we have with our other products is available on the Pay by Text as well.
So in this example that I'm showing on the screen here, again, I started with the pay flow. So in this case, Pay by Text, we're trying to pay this bill. It pops up with the Visa ending in 111, which is the one I have on file. At this point, I don't want to use that Visa. I want to put in a new payment method. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and type 2 to do something else. In this flow, what's really cool is we are now linked across channels. So in this case, in order to set that up, the way this client demo has been set up is that I would now need to link back over to my PayWeb environment to set up that billing information. And so you can see here too, when we talk about Pay by Text is the really cool shiny object. It is the ability within a couple of messages, 2 to 3 messages, your consumer can make a payment. You know, it's as easy as, and we don't want to recommend this, but it is as easy as when a consumer is sitting there at the stoplight and they remember my car bill is due today, they can at the stoplight within 30 seconds complete that payment. Now, we're not recommending it, but it's that easy, right? Now, the other side of it is it's fully integrated. So here, I can now link back into my PayWeb site, and it'll take me back over to that PayWeb channel so I can log in and update the information as required.
And again, we do not want to, we don't send credit card or ACH information back and forth through text. That's just not a secure method. That's why in the example that Ryan has, we direct them back to the PayWeb site so that we know that that site is PCI compliant. That's where they have to enter their credit card information or debit card information.
And we did get a question about this Pay by Text support expiration notices. So those are some of the things we're working on. So right now we have set up in the environment for text message the ability to send alerts. So when a payment is due or when a payment method needs to be updated, we have the ability to send confirmations when a payment message or when a payment is due and a payment is made. So you do have a lot of capabilities. So we're showing you the front end, the Pay by Text piece, but it does have the capability to send out notifications, confirmations, alerts, past due alerts, etc. All right. Do you want to dive into PayWeb a little bit, show linked accounts and all the functionality within PayWeb?
So we saw a little of the PayWeb product with the text messaging, but let me show you some of the feature functionality we have for So again, same thing, we've got our opt-in information. Now, a consumer can go past this if they choose to. And this one, I'll just choose to go past that information. And then I land on an account home screen. As we mentioned before, these screens are customizable. So you tell us what you want to display to your consumers, what you don't want to display to your consumers. So whatever you want to display to your consumers, as long as we have a way to get that information, we can display it here on the screen. As Ryan mentioned, we also have the ability to list linked accounts. So if you have a consumer that, for this example, in my demo environment, it's a car loan. So they have a car loan, they had a down payment that they owed, they had a repair note. So we have the ability for one consumer that has multiple accounts to link those accounts in one place for the consumer to see those. And then we have the ability for the consumer to pay all the accounts. So they can make one payment for all the accounts, or they can make a payment on this specific account. Now, this is the down payment account. If they choose that they want to make their auto loan payment, it's as simple as clicking that button, and then they can make a payment on their auto loan. So functionality within PayWeb is great for a consumer that has multiple accounts with you on the collection side, as well as auto finance if you have some repair notes. Again, I'm going to make a one-time payment here. We have the ability for consumers to set up payment plans. So let's look at that. Payment plans. They can pay the current balance. Say you offered them a settlement amount. So we have a $4,000 settlement amount. Have a lot of different options here for the consumer to pay monthly, weekly, quarterly, bi-weekly.
And again, those are configurable. So,
those are.
Right. So if you as a client don't want someone to pay less than or less frequently than monthly, we'll only go to monthly. If you want it only monthly or bi-weekly, then we can set it so that's the only configuration option available to your customers.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to make a $300 down payment today, and then monthly on the 15th. I'm going to set up a payment for $100. Let's review that payment plan. It would go more than it, so that's, again, customization. So this is telling me that I've got an error here because the scheduled payments are going to go way out too far. Of course, this one isn't working. So let's go back in here. So here's a calendar as well. So again, some more customization that we can do. So if you want your consumers to only be able to pay today, they can just pay today. If you want to allow them to pay 30 days out, 60 days out, we change this calendar so that they can pay as far out as you choose to allow them to do. If they need to add bank account information, they can do that here. We ask them if they'd like to save it for future use. If they do, they click yes. If not, they choose no. Now, if they need to delete a card on file, they can do that as well. We have the ability for consumers to, if they have a payment that they've scheduled and they need to cancel it for any reason, this is customizable as well. So if you want to give them the ability to do this, we can. If you choose not to, then we won't display it for the consumer. But if they like to cancel a payment, they can do that here. Now, they can only cancel a payment if it's future dated, or they went in, it's an ACH payment, and they can cancel it today if it's due today. Go back to the account home screen. Make another payment. We mentioned convenience fees. If you choose to charge a convenience fee, or you choose for PaymentVision to charge a convenience fee, we display that here for the consumer. And as I mentioned before, this electronic signature function is new to PaymentVision. So we've added this in the last couple weeks. Now, these options here are customizable as well. If you only want the consumer to have a checkbox to authorize this, you don't have to have any of these other options. If you want all of these options, you have them. If you just want the checkbox and the name, we can do that. So everything we do here is very customizable. Confirmation, consumer can print it, or they can email it. If you have an email address on file that you're sending to us, PaymentVision, and in a file or through APIs, we would automatically get a confirmation of this payment, the consumer would, if we have an email address on file. If we don't, the consumer can always email themselves. A receipt. Any questions on our web products? Can you make that bigger?
It is one of the, is there a demo available with a landlord collecting monthly rent and other charges due from a resident? View of the setup and now amounts come over.
Yes. Could you contact, my contact information is on the screen, so if you contact us directly, I'll set up a demo for you with that. We do have some clients that are, that's exactly what they do. They collect their rent payments via our web product. Our IVR products, we find that the seniors that are living in those communities like the IVR, so they can just use the phone to make the payments. But I can definitely set up a demo with you on that.
And some of the other things that we could highlight here is Angel talked about payment history, so it shows when payments are collected. Let's talk about payment plan and one-time payment, and you can also see future dated payments.
Absolutely.
So, you know, in that example, you can put the payments in and then be able to view what payments are due next, etc.
Yeah, and that would be this screen here. So if you have future dated payments, you're going to see them here. You're also going to see if they're in a part of a series. So if the consumer set up a payment arrangement, they would see them here.
Another useful tool within PayWeb is the linked accounts, which Angel shared earlier. So, you know, sometimes you may have a customer, if you're in auto finance, that has 2 loans, or in collections, they may have multiple accounts under collections. So you can link all those accounts together to provide them total balance and even set up payments to be able to be made in aggregate.
Absolutely.
Any other questions on PayWeb? I will just give a quick update on PayWeb. So we are currently working on our next iteration of PayWeb, and so we're actively seeking our clients' feedback and going through prototyping and demoing. And so we are working on our next iteration of PayWeb. So you'll see here the UI, adding in additional payment options, etc. So that's our goal by the end of this year, is to actually release an upgrade to this PayWeb product, and we're taking in our clients' feedback right now through usability sessions, user feedback sessions, etc. So, you know, we go back to one of our founding principles around customer service and experience, and this is a way that makes us different, is we're actually going out to our clients and saying, what's working for you, what's not working for you, and let's go ahead and work together to develop the solution that you need going forward. And so we're taking that feedback into the next design iteration of PayWeb 3. And so as we have these conversations, we're more than willing to reach out to you if you want to send us your name, if you're interested to be part of those feedback sessions. All right.
So I think the last product is
mobile
the app.
All right, let's do mobile app. If you would, I'm going to go ahead and request share again.
Yep. There you go.
638. All right, so for the mobile app, what I've done is I've actually loaded the mobile app already. So here, what you have is you'll enter through the mobile app. You'll have a login screen just like you do on PayWeb or any of the other capture channels. With it can be account number and password, it can be account number and PIN, it can be account number and zip code. Again, customizable to the way you interact with your clients and the level of security and risk settings that you want to apply. So here, a couple of options. We can look here and verify contact info. I can confirm or update. So if I need to change any of this, I can do that right here from the panel. I can go to my account home screen. I can see what payments are due, and I can make a payment on that, or I can look at what's scheduled next. So to the point of the rent example before, I can see that I have my next payment due, and that amount is due on 5/5 in the amount of $787. So, this is an example that you can set up those future dated payments right here, make a payment on that. So lots of flexibility. And again, the other thing that I'd highlight with our app that's different than what you'll see in the market from some of our peers and competitors is this is your app. This isn't the PaymentVision app. Your customers aren't going into the PaymentVision app and then selecting from a drop down to go pay for company X, Y, or Z. What is happening here is we're creating an app for you where you see PaymentVision. That is now branded to you. It is going into your instance. It is pulling your information. Your consumer, when they use this app, is only seeing the information and activity tied to the account that they have with you as the client. And so that is a very key differentiator when you're talking about mobile apps. There's a lot of payment providers out there talking about mobile apps, and the way they're doing it is a central app and then selecting you as a drop-down. This is very different and distinguishable and creates a lot of value for you. It's giving you a mobile presence unlike many can give. The next thing I'll highlight here I think is really cool and is important because as we think about our business and how we can create efficiency, and as we talked about before, whether it's the Federal Reserve studies that came out early and late last year, if it's the CFPB study, etc., digital payments are the way to go. More and more folks are using their phones to complete payments, and to do pretty much anything in life, you can now do it on your phone, right? And so as I think about that, and we talk about different payment methods, what I want to highlight is a couple things here. And this is important because it really shapes the way your business runs. And so one of those things is checks. A lot of businesses still have to accept checks. And we talk about consumer checks. The mobile app is a great way to increase operational efficiency because when you have the mobile app, your customer can download the mobile app, go in, and by using add a bank account right here, they can actually use the scan check function and scan a check. So I don't have a check here right now, but the example
it gives you the ability to do that.
It gives you the ability to do that. And why is that important? That's important because you have users, they're on the phone with you and saying, yeah, I'll make that payment. And then what you're hoping is when they get off the phone with you, they write that check, they sign that check, they have a stamp to put on that envelope, they get it out the door in the mailbox, and then hopefully 3 to 7 days later, you receive that check in the mail. Versus this, when you're on the phone with your customers, you can say, well, let's go ahead and download the mobile app. You can scan the check in right now, and you can own that experience from beginning to end within one channel. So you can control the conversation better, you can increase your payment collection, and you can reduce some of that operational costs that you have associated with processing checks manually. So that's a huge add, and it's a huge add for the consumer because if you go to any banking app or pretty much anywhere, you can do that payment all within that channel, right? So once you get them set up and using the app, they can load their checking account information. Same thing with credit card. Let's say they want to add a new credit card. We make it super easy to add a new credit card. Again, same thing you'll see right here. On the bottom right, you have a little image for a credit card. Again, same thing. We can capture the credit card and scan that in, make it super easy for the user to enter their payment information. So this mobile app is really invaluable. It can increase your operational efficiency tenfold and also drive that consumer experience and meet their expectations that they have. So this is just a really high-level overview of the mobile app, but you can see what it does. Consistent experience between text, pay web, and mobile. It gives all the functionality that our web experience gives, plus some, and it really helps you not only drive a better customer experience, but reduce friction in the payment experience so you can capture more payments, right? No one wants to make a payment, so every time you put a little hurdle or roadblock in their ability to make a payment, it gives them an opportunity to fall out of the funnel. Here, we're making it so easy. It's just streamlined, simple. Step one, enter the amount you want to pay, take a picture of your payment method, hit enter, and you're good to go.
I think, Ryan, if you show the Apple Store, you can show the PaymentVision app is displayed in the store. Again, Google and the Apple Store, it's there. And as Ryan mentioned, the seamless integration with PaymentVision. So again, we talked about, can you set it up that your consumer can only make a minimum of payment? That works on the app as well as on text message, as well as on the web. Same thing for restricting payments. If you only want to be able to take ACH payments, we can restrict credit, debit card on all of those channels. We can get it specific as a consumer. So you have a consumer that can make a debit card payment, but they can't make an ACH payment.
All right, let's see. We do have a question that came in, so let's see. How is the app name in Apple Store?
It will be named with your company name.
That's right. Yep.
So right now in the Apple Store, can you show the PaymentVision app?
Yeah, I just showed it very briefly.
Okay, yeah. So it says PaymentVision, but whatever your company name is how it would be displayed in the Apple Store or in the Google Store. We've done several of these for several different clients, and auto finance, rent payments, for example, and auto finance, if somebody's coming in and purchasing a car or financing a car, they have that person download their app as they're sitting there in the dealership, and then that's how they make their monthly payments. So it's branded to your brand. So whatever your company name is, that's what they will search in the Apple Store to find you.
That's right. So right here, this is the PaymentVision app in the Apple Store. When we build the app for you, what you'll see is this icon on the top left, that little card there, will be your logo, your name. Where it says PaymentVision, that would be your company's name. We would have it set up based on the business tag, if it's business, fund, et cetera, most likely be business. You'll see the ratings, and then you'll see where we have the PaymentVision logo on the main screen, you would see your logo.
Yeah. And I know, Ryan, you've done the statistics. How many are we showing consumers making payments on their mobile devices versus a computer?
It's continuing to grow. So even this is validated by the CFPB in their last credit card study in August of 2019. Over 60% of all consumers, that's the 85-year-old, that's the 15-year-old, are making financial transactions on their phone. So over 60% of consumers are sitting here on their phone doing everything they need. And then if we look at those under 25, it's 80% of consumers. So we can see that this is only going to continue to grow, and we're no longer in the beginning of the innovation curve where you have 10 to 15% of the audience kind of messing around with this. This is full adoption. So
right.
your consumers are expecting a mobile experience.
Yes.
So we have a question, how much for app customization? Typically we answer these questions one-off, case by case, but there's actually not a cost for the customization. We'll contact you to go over what the transaction fee and what the monthly fee is after the webinar.
Isn't the same technology? Yeah, so we are constantly looking at improvements to our capabilities. So there was a question asking about notifications, Google Wallet, Apple Wallet. So those are all things that we are considering on our roadmap. What I'd like to do now, I'll give a couple of pauses here to see if there's any more questions about Pay by Text, mobile app, or our Pay Web experience. Real quick, I'll take a pause, and then after that pause, I'll move over to do a quick overview or walk-in payments. I think this will probably be really valuable for some of our government agencies and our collection firms.
Absolutely.
All right, seeing no questions, no additional questions come in, please feel free to reach back out to us with any questions, rclark@autoscribe.com or akeller@autoscribe.com. Just reach out to us, send us any questions you have, and we'll funnel them over to the team to make sure we get those answered.
I guess my last name was too hard to...
Yeah,
we're not attempting that.
All right, good.
Do you want to talk about the walk-in payments?
Yeah, so I know we have a few housing authorities online today, and currently we work with a handful up on the East Coast. And so for cash walk-in payments, the handful of housing authorities we have today, they give an incentive for the renters, residents, to make payments from the 1st through 5th. So during that time, the convenience fee is waived to make the rent payment. It's supplemented by the housing authority itself. And then what we've seen is, I think, 60–70% of the time, people are making their rent payments on time from the 1st through the 5th, since they're given an incentive to make those payments by waiving the convenience fee. So from the 6th through the end of the month, the consumer renter then pays the convenience fee on top of their rent, and then we send the funds back to the housing authority. So what we've seen is instead of having to accept checks being walked in through a lockboxed environment, we're getting credit cards, debit cards, cash walk-in payments, and some ACH through the bank accounts being made for the rent payments on a monthly basis. What we have is close to 60,000 locations nationwide where residents are able to walk in their cash payments, make a payment at a Walgreens, a CVS, a Walmart, a Kroger, and then those funds then are applied to their rent payment on a monthly basis. So it's something that, you know, we've done over the last couple of years, and it's picking up a lot of traction. So any other housing authorities that has any questions about, you know, the cash walk-in payments or payments made through our web or IVR channels, please reach out to us. We'd love to speak to you again.
And those walk-in payments, or the cash payments that are being made out in the different, you know, Walgreens, CVS, those type of places, those payments are funneled into the PaymentVision portal, so you have access to those payments real time. So if you have somebody that walks into a Walgreens at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and makes a rent payment and then calls you, or makes a car payment and then calls you and said, I just made my car payment, you have visibility to that. You see that payment immediately as it's made and out in those locations. So that's a benefit with the integration into all of our products, is it doesn't matter how your renters or your consumers are making the payments, you have visibility into those immediately.
Okay. I'm going to transition here. It is now 50 after the hour, and we got about 5 to 10 minutes left. I first want to thank everyone that participated today. I do have a couple questions I would like to ask from the group, if you would entertain us. So I'm going to put up another poll here. We want to make sure we understand what's most important to you in making the right payment decision. If you could, we're going to ask the question here about what's the most important factor in considering a payment processor. We'd love to get your response.
We're tied.
Awesome. There you go. All right. Well, we thank everyone. So what we saw here was operational costs and payments collection increasing revenue are the most important factors to the audience in making sure payment decision. We do appreciate that. It's very important that we understand from a customer perspective what is most important from you. And then the next thing that I'd like to ask is simply in our when we end the call, you'll get an email after this with a survey, and we'd like to know two things. One, was this beneficial to you? And two, what would you like to see us do in the future? Given our changing times, we can't get face-to-face as much as we'd like to. So this is a way for us to try to make that connection and get in front and help provide you the information you need to have to make the right business decisions for your team. So if you would, we just ask that you complete that survey for us and provide us any feedback that would be helpful, so we can continue to provide these webinars and do them in a way that's valuable to you. Before we close out the day, I'll just look to see if there's any additional questions or any additional comments from the team. All right. It looks like we have no additional questions right now. Again, please feel free to reach out to us. We will have that survey after this, and we do appreciate any feedback that you can provide us. We look forward to doing this on a regular basis, and the more feedback you give us, the more we can tailor this solution to you.
Thank you for spending an hour of your afternoon with us. We really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.